Welcome to Coffee with Jeb. My guest today, who I'm having coffee with, is Jon Turk.
Great, thanks, Jeb. It's good to be here.
Thanks for joining me. So you lived here in the 70s?
Yeah, I left in 1980 and went north to Montana.
And you've gone lots of different places and done lots of different things over the past 30 years.
Yeah.
A couple different things.
As everybody has.
But you're here because of your new book, which I'll hold up, The Raven's Gift, which just came out in January?
Yeah, the end of January.
And this is the story of how you met a shaman in Siberia.
That's correct, yep.
And you ended up meeting her. How did you meet this woman?
Well, it started, we were on an expedition to paddle kayaks across the North Pacific from Japan to Alaska. And we were following an ancient migration route and looking at migrations from Asia to North America. So it was a 2-year expedition. This is the topic of my previous book, In the Wake of the Jomen. And while we were paddling along the coast, a storm came up. We were near this town of Ivenka. We came in through the surf. We landed, and this woman was standing on the beach. And she said, "Welcome. We were expecting you. The grandmother wants to talk to you." Yeah, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm a chemist from suburban Connecticut. I went to high school with George W. Bush. This doesn't compute.
Wait, hold on. That's a whole other interview that we can do.
Okay.
So first of all, before we get into what happened when you met this woman, what exactly were you doing there? Were you there as a chemist? Were you there? Was this a scientific?
No. This was an adventure. It was a sponsored adventure. I'm an expedition sea kayaker.
And backcountry skier and
mountain bike rider and blah blah blah, okay. Climber. And it was what I thought was to be the next frontier, the next big thing, the next unaccomplished adventure was to paddle a kayak across the Pacific Ocean. So I initially started it as the next best adventure, the next big wall to climb.
Okay.
So. And then once I got into it, I realized this migration theme, that it was the migration route of past people. And I got into that. And then suddenly I'm standing on the beach and the grandmother wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my whole life took an immediate turn, and I followed this woman and this shamanism for the next 5 years.
So did you stay there with her?
No.
And first of all, what was it like to paddle up on a beach in Siberia? And I'm imagining this is a really remote spot.
Right. No roads, very remote.
And there's a woman standing there saying, "Oh yeah, we were expecting you." What's that like?
Well, when you're traveling in Siberia, Russia is a crazy, wild place. And you expect the unexpected.
Okay.
So we were traveling totally unsupported. We didn't have any food with us, just carrying a small amount in the boat. And we were stopping in villages along the way and getting food and getting supplies. And you're used to a level of just difference,
right.
Different culture, totally different culture. So I wasn't totally surprised, but this had ratcheted up a notch.
Okay.
The grandmother caused the storm to bring you to town. She wants to talk to you. And immediately I go, okay, we've ratcheted up the madness just another little notch.
Right. Okay, so what happened from there, from that meeting?
Well, we met very briefly. And Mulanat, when we left, she touched me by the elbow. She says, "Come back, it will be good if you do." And we went on because we were on an expedition, we had sponsors, we had a goal to accomplish. So then we could have ignored it, but we didn't. We came back, we being me and my Russian partner, Misha. So then the coming back is the beginning of this book, The Raven's Gift, and then we kept returning repeatedly, and each time going a layer deeper into the spirituality of these people.
And this woman who you met was the shaman, or the grandmother was the shaman?
The grandmother was the shaman.
And there's something in the front of the book that says she healed you had a injury,
Right.
a broken pelvis,
Right.
and she was able to heal you.
Right. I busted up my pelvis in an avalanche in British Columbia 5 years previously. And it had been surgically reduced, and I had a plate and everything, but I wasn't well. Some days I could ski, some days I'd have to crawl around the apartment to go to the bathroom. So we wandered out on the tundra. This is now the second visit. We wandered out on the tundra to find reindeer people and get reindeer meat for the grandmother, and I re-injured it. And then we went back to town, and she healed me.
How?
How? She had me take off all my clothes and stand on one leg and put one arm behind my back and the other arm straight out in front of me. And she went to the other world and she talked to Kutka the raven. And she said, okay, now Kutka the raven is going to fly to talk to the woman who lives on top of the highest mountain, but you have to believe. And what came back was exactly what came to me when I landed on the beach. I'm a chemist from suburban Connecticut. I went to high school with George W. Bush. You know, I wasn't prepared to believe that Kutka the raven could heal this serious orthopedic injury. I got healed.
Wow.
And
so now you're all right.
Right.
There's a lot to this.
There's a lot to this. So I couldn't let it drop. I couldn't just go away and say, oh, okay, yeah, you know, I'm better.
Yeah.
So we returned to Siberia. Now, the healing was on the second visit. We returned 3 more times to thank Mulanat, to thank Kutka, to wander out on the tundra. And this is the story of the book, is each visit, she took us to a deeper level of spirituality. And then when we'd come back, I'd say, okay, I got it. And I go, oh God, no, I'm missing something. And I'd go back, yeah.
So that is what the Raven's Gift is, essentially the story of your returns and how you grew through this,
right,
this friendship.
Right, and she tried to take me to the other world first through hallucinogenic mushrooms. Okay, you can go to the other world and thank Kutka and we'll give you this mushroom and you take the journey. And I failed to do that. I started wandering through the labyrinth and I got terrified. So then I felt like a sense of failure, like I wasn't together enough to make the journey. And what happened is then the next day Olek the hunter takes me out on the land. And we travel on the land for several days, and on the way back he says, John, you're a lousy traveler in the other world. If you want to make your journeys, you have to make them in this world. And the other world and this world are the same. So what you have to do, because of your temperament, you have to go thank Kutka by traveling across the tundra, come back in winter, this is Siberian winter, on skis with Misha, and make your journey that way.
Well, we've got to wrap up the interview, but it sounds amazing.
Well, thanks.
And thank you so much for talking to me. Yeah. Jon Turk, it's called The Raven's Gift, and check it out.